Okay, good morning, students. So far, we have completed 3 units of digital control systems. Now, now, from today onwards, we are going to start unit number 4. And the title of unit 4 is Stability Analysis. Stability Analysis. And this particular unit is simple and small unit. This particular unit is a very small unit which is consisting of only 4 particular topics. 4 particular topics are there in unit 4. The first topic is mapping between S-plane and jet plane. First topic is mapping between S-plane and jet plane. And next topic is primary strips and complementary strips. Second topic of unit 4 is primary strips and complementary strips. And 2 more topics are there, and these topics are regarding to the stability criteria. These topics are regarding to the stability criteria. Okay. In stability criteria, we are having only 2 different methods for analysis of the stability. Those are modified Routh stability criterion, modified Routh stability criterion, and jury stability tests. 2 different tests are there to find out the stability of that particular system. Okay, only 4 particular topics are there in unit 4, and the title of unit 4 is stability analysis. First topic is mapping between S plane and jet plane. Second topic is primary strips and complementary strips. And third and fourth topics are regarding to the stability criteria. In that one, 2 different tests or methods are there. The first method to determine the stability is modified Routh stability criteria, and second one is jury stability test. These are the 4 particular topics which are there in unit 4. Okay, so for today's class, I will discuss the first topic of unit 4. First topic of unit 4. The topic is mapping between S plane and jet plane. Mapping between S plane and jet plane. Okay, so let us enter into the first topic of unit 4. Yeah, this is the first topic, mapping between S plane and jet plane. Okay, this particular concept has been discussed in jet transforms method. We have framed a relation between S domain and jet domain. We have framed a relation between S domain and jet domain. Okay, in simple words, I will tell what is the relation between S plane and jet plane means. In case of the S plane, in order to determine the stability, we have to choose only the left hand side or right hand side of S plane. Okay, in case of the S plane, in order to determine the stability, we have to choose whether the left hand side or right hand side of the S plane. That means both 2 sides of the S plane is going to be considered in S plane division. Whereas for the jet plane, in order to determine the stability for the jet plane, you have to consider a unit circle. You have to consider a unit circle. In simple words, in very detailed words, in case of the S plane, the system is said to be a stable system if all the poles lies on the left hand side of the S plane. It's similar to this one. In case of the jet plane, the system is said to be a stable system if all the poles lies within the unit circle. If all the poles lies within the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a stable system with regard to the jet plane. With regard to the S plane, all the poles has to be placed on the left hand side of the S plane. Then that particular system is called as the stable system. Okay, now in this class, we are going to frame the relationship between the S plane and jet plane. That means we are going to we are going to frame a conditional statement. We are going to frame a conditional statement on a equation which shows the relation between S-plane and Z-plane. That means left hand side of S-plane is considered as the stability within the unit circle is considered as the stability in Z-plane. Okay, so without any delay, let us frame the conditional statement with respect to the S-plane and Z-plane. Okay, now let us consider a discrete sequence. Let us consider a discrete sequence, and let us suppose that particular discrete sequence is R of kt. R of kt. Why? Because it is considered as a discrete system. It is considered as a discrete system. If it is considered as a continuous system, we can suppose that particular signal or a sequence as R of t. But we are going to consider only the discrete sequence. So that particular discrete sequence is supposed to be a signal that is R of kt. And it is having a sampling rate of 1 by t. It is having a sampling rate of 1 by t. Okay. Now applying the Z transform or taking the Z transform for this particular discrete sequence, we are going to get the Z transform of R of kt. What is R of kt? It is nothing but a discrete sequence. Okay. With the application of the Z transform for this particular R of kt, we are going to get, that means the Z transform of R of kt is nothing but R of z that is equal to sigma from k is equal to 0 to infinity R of kt into z power minus k. That means we have considered only a one-sided Z transform. We have considered a one-sided Z transform. So one-sided Z transform is only having the sequence from 0 to infinity. From 0 to infinity. Therefore, the Z transform for the discrete sequence R of kt is nothing but R of z, and it is given as sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity R of kt into z power minus k. R of kt into z power minus k. Okay, so let us assume this particular R of kt as an impulse sample signal. Let us consider this particular discrete sequence which we have considered, that is R of kt, as an impulse sampled signal. It is a impulse sampled signal. What is the impulse sampled signal? Impulse sampled signal is nothing but this particular R of kt has to be multiplied with an impulse signal. A impulse sampled signal is nothing but called as a signal which is multiplied with the impulse signal. Then that particular signal is called as the impulse sampled signal. Impulse sampled signal. Therefore, we have considered this particular R of kt as a impulse sampled signal. Then with the application of the Laplace transform for this particular signal R dash of t, that means let us consider R of kt is a discrete sequence, and R dash of t or R dash of kt is considered as a impulse sampled signal. It is considered as a impulse sampled signal. Then the Laplace transform of this particular signal R dash of t, the Laplace transform of the signal R dash of t is nothing but called as R dash of s. R dash of s. That means we have obtained only the Laplace transform, not the Z transform. Laplace transform. So therefore R dash of t is nothing but sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity R of kt into delta of R minus kt. This particular R dash of t is nothing but called as the impulse sampled signal. Impulse sampled signal. Impulse sampled signal. Therefore, with the application of the Laplace transform for this particular signal, we are going to get, for applying, that means this particular signal is applied with a Laplace transform. Therefore, the Laplace transform of R dash of t is going to transform or convert into R dash of s. R dash of s is equal to sigma from k is equal to 0 to infinity R of kt into e power minus k s t. That means s into kt. The Laplace transform of this particular impulse signal is nothing but called as the e power minus st. Here st has been replaced with, sorry, is it here the t has been replaced with kt. T has been replaced with kt. Therefore, the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal r of t is nothing but r dash of s is equal to sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity r of kt into e power minus s into kt. S into kt. But in case of the Z transform, we have framed a relation between the S domain and Z domain. In case of the Z transformations, we have framed a relation between the S domain and Z domain. And that particular relation is Z is equal to e power st. We have framed a relation in case of the Z transform, that is Z is equal to e power s into t. E power s into t. Applying the logarithmic for this value, log z is equal to st. Log z, that means applying the transformation, logarithmic transformation on both sides, we are going to get log z is equal to st. From that s can be taken as 1 by t into log of z. S is equal to 1 by t into log of z. So this is the relation which is going to frame between the S plane and Z plane. This is the relation which is going to frame between S plane and Z plane. So just substitute this particular S value in this particular equation r dash of S. With the substitution of this particular S value in this particular equation r dash of S, we are going to get r dash of s is equal to sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity r of kt into e power minus kt into 1 by t into ln of z. 1 by t into logarithmic value of z. Therefore, it is going to convert into sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity r of kt into e power ln of z power minus k. So e power logarithmic value is going to taken as a unity value. It is going to convert into sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity r of kt into z power minus k. This particular value is nothing but called as the Z transform of this particular signal r of kt, which we have framed in the earlier. What is the Z transform of the signal or the sequence r of kt? It is nothing but sigma k is equal to 0 to infinity r of kt into z power minus k. Here, with the substitution of the value, that is s is equal to 1 by t into logarithm of value of z, we are going to get the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal. The Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal r dash of s is equal to r of z. The impulse sampled signal r dash of s is equal to r of z. That means with the condition. What is the condition? We have framed between the S plane and Z plane. That particular condition is nothing but small s is equal to 1 by t into logarithmic value of z. With this particular relation only, we have framed, that means we have mapped the S plane with the Z plane. Okay, the impulse sampled signal r dash of s is equal to r of z. So this particular equation gives the Z transform of a discrete sequence can be obtained. That means the Z transform of this particular discrete sequence r of kt can be obtained from the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal. That means the Z transform of the particular the Z transform of the discrete signal can be obtained from the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal with with choosing with choosing a transformation condition that is S is equal to 1 by T into ln of Z. That means the Z transform can be obtained from the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal while choosing S is equal to 1 by T into log Z. Log Z. Okay. So now we are going to see the mapping conditions. We are going to see the diagrammatic or the pictorial representation of the mapping condition of the S-plane and Z-plane. Now we are going to see the pictorial representation of S-plane with the Z-plane. The pictorial representation of the S-plane with the Z-plane. Okay, so let us consider the S-plane which is having the axis from minus j omega to plus j omega to minus j omega. Let us frame the S-plane division with the axis from minus j omega to plus j omega and divide this particular left hand side. Why we have chosen only the left hand side part? Why? Because in case of the S-plane, the left hand side consideration of the poles is considered as the stable. The stability condition is going to be obtained only for the left hand side portion of the poles. So we have considered only the portion of the left hand side portion of the S-plane, and let us divide the left hand side portion into a small strips. Small strips means we have to consider both the negative axis as well as the positive axis. That means the numerator and denominator, positive axis and negative axis. We have to consider the portion. That particular portion is called as the strips. So let us divide the left hand side portion into a equal parts. That is, let us suppose that particular equal part is n omega. N omega is nothing but where n is nothing but an integer, and omega is nothing but called as the sampling frequency. So let us consider that particular portion we have considered is from j omega s divided by 2 to minus j omega s divided by 2. We have considered the portion of the S-plane from j omega s divided by 2 to minus j omega s divided by 2. So we have considered this particular portion, and this particular portion is called as a strip. This particular portion is called as a strip of S-plane with the width omega s, where omega is nothing but called as the sampling frequency. So up to now we have considered only a particular strip according to the left hand plane of the S-plane. We have considered a strips. That means the portion of the S-plane. That means strip in the left half plane of the S-plane with the width omega s, where omega is nothing but called as the sampling frequency, has to map. That means this particular portion has to map with the portion of the interior portion of the unit circle of the jet. This particular portion has to map the interior portion of the unit circle in case of jet plane. Is it clear? That means this particular relation is going to frame a mapping condition. That is, we have considered a portion of S-plane. That means we have considered a portion of S-plane means we have considered a strip. That particular area of the strip has to map the interior portion of the unit. Has to map with the interior portion of the jet plane. Roll number 92, please unmute yourself. Roll number 92, please unmute yourself. Okay, the portion which we have considered in the left hand portion of the S plane has to map with the interior portion of the unit circle regarding to the jet plane. Regarding to the jet plane. So this is the relation or the mapping between the S plane to the jet plane. S plane to the jet plane. That means the jet transform of the discrete signal can be obtained with the Laplace transform of the sampled signal, impulse sampled signal with the transformation condition, that is S is equal to 1 by T into log z. Log z. That means the left hand side portion of the S plane has to be mapped with the interior portion of the unit circle regarding to the jet plane. The left hand side portion of the S plane, that means the area of this particular strip has to map with the interior unit circle of the jet plane. Interior unit circle of the jet plane. Okay, so this is the relation between the S plane and the jet plane. S plane and the jet plane. That means this particular above diagrams is going to explain the relationship between the portions of the left hand side with the portion of the interior unit circle. Okay, so for the stability condition of the system in case of the S plane, the poles of the S function or the S domain transfer function should lie on the left hand side of the S plane. Similarly, the poles of the transfer function regarding to the jet plane has to be within the unit circle in case of the jet plane. That means, as I have previously explained, that if the poles of a transfer function with S domain is placed on the, that means the poles are going to be placed on the left hand side of the S plane, then that particular system is called as stable. Similar to this particular condition, the poles of the jet plane transfer function lies within the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a stable system regarding to the jet plane. Okay, this is the mapping condition between the S plane and jet plane. So while I have observed the previous university questions, in that previous university questions, this particular question is asked for 10 marks. This particular condition or this particular question is asked for 10 marks. Okay, for 2 marks we can write only the just mapping condition, that is S is equal to 1 by T into log of jet. That particular statement is used for the transformation of jet domain with S domain. For essay questions, this particular question is asked for 10 marks in your university previous question papers. Okay, I have seen in the yesterday the previous university question papers, so I came to know this particular question is asked for 10 marks. Okay, so this is the first topic, and we are having a pending part of the first topic, that is the stability conditions for the closed loop system with regard to the jet plane and S plane. The stability conditions of the closed loop system with respect to the jet plane and S plane. Okay, so let us discuss the stability conditions for the closed loop systems with the consideration of the jet plane and S plane. Okay, the first condition is these conditions are very familiar to you. That means in the jet plane, the closed loop poles must lie within the unit circle for the system to be stable. As I have previously explained, that in case of the jet domain or the jet plane, the poles of the transfer function has to be lie within the unit circle. In case of the jet plane, whereas in case of the S plane, all the poles of the closed loop transfer function must lie on the left hand plane of the S plane, on the left hand side of the S plane, so that particular system is called as a stable. That particular system is called as a stable system. Okay, The second condition is if any closed loop poles lies outside the unit circle in the jet plane, then that particular system is called as an unstable system. Similarly, what is the second statement is nothing but the vice versa of the first statement. If the poles lies within the unit circle of the jet plane, then that particular system is called as stable. Or else, if that particular poles of the closed loop system lies outside the unit circle, then that particular system is called as the unstable system. Similarly, if the closed loop poles of the transfer function of the S-plane lies on the right-hand side of the S-plane, then that particular system is called as the unstable system. Then this particular system is called as the unstable system. Okay, both first statement and second statements are equal. Both are vice versa. Now, let us discuss about the third statement. That is the third condition. A pole at Z is equal to 1 or a single pair of the complex conjugative pole on the unit circle make the system critically stable. That means if the pole is going to lie on the unit circle, if the pole of the transfer function, closed loop transfer function in case of the jet plane lies on the unit circle, then that particular system is called as the critically stable. Similarly, in case of the S-plane, if a simple pole or a single pair of the pole presented on the complex conjugative pole, that means if that particular pole lies on the j omega axis, means between the on the y-axis, then that particular system is called as the marginally stable in case of the S domain. Once again, if a pole of a closed loop transfer function in case of the Z domain lies on the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a critically stable in case of the Z plane. Whereas coming to the S plane, if the pole lies on the j omega axis, if the pole of a closed loop transfer function in case of the S domain lies on the j omega axis, that is on the y axis, then that particular system is called as the marginally stable in case of the S plane. Okay, this is the third condition. And what is the fourth condition? The fourth condition is a multiple closed loop poles on the unit circle of the jet planes make the system as a unstable. That means if you consider a closed loop transfer function with respect to the jet plane, if multiple poles are going to be presented on the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a unstable system. Similarly, while compared with the S-plane, if a multiple poles, that means multiple poles regarding to the closed loop transfer function presented on the j omega axis or on the at the origin of the axis, if a multiple poles presented on the j omega axis or at the origin, then that particular system is treated as an unstable system. Is treated as a unstable system. These are the four conditions. That means four different stability conditions of a closed loop transfer function with respect to the jet plane and S plane. Once again, I am going to explain these four conditions. The first condition is, in order to say whether the system is stable regarding to the jet plane, all the poles of the closed loop transfer function must lie within the unit circle. Similarly, in case of the S plane, all the poles of the closed loop circuits has to be presented on the left hand side of the S plane. Then that particular system is called as a stable system. Similarly, if a particular system is said to be unstable system, why? Because if all the poles of the unit circle, all the poles of the transfer function lies outside the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a unstable system. Similarly, in case of the S plane, all the poles of the closed loop transfer function lies on the right hand side of the S plane, then that particular system is called as a unstable system. And similarly, if any pole, that means if a single pole lies on the unit circle, then that particular system is called as a critically stable. And similarly, with respect to the S plane, if a single pole of a closed loop transfer function lies on the j omega axis, then that particular system is called as a marginally stable system. And the fourth condition is if you consider a multiple poles, that means more than one pole, if more than one pole is going to be presented on the unit circle, then that particular system is treated as a unstable system. Regarding to the jet plane, so regarding to the S plane, if you consider a multiple poles on the j omega axis or at the origin, then that particular system is treated as a unstable system. These are the four conditions, that means four different stability conditions regarding to closed loop transfer function of a jet plane and S plane. Okay, so these conditions are also very, very important, and these conditions are asked for 4 marks or 2 marks. The four conditions for the stability can be asked for 2 marks or 4 marks in your previous university question papers. Okay, so for today's class, we have discussed the first topic of the unit 1, that is the mapping of S plane with jet plane. Mapping of S plane and jet plane. That means the jet transfer function, the jet transform of the discrete signal can be obtained with the Laplace transform of the impulse sampled signal with the transformation, that is S is equal to 1 by t into log of jet, and the portion of the left hand side of the S plane has to be mapped with the interior portion of the unit circle with respect to the jet plane. Okay, this is the first topic regarding to the unit 4, and we have discussed the 4 stability conditions of a closed loop transfer function with respect to the jet plane and S plane. Okay, so in the next class we will discuss the second topic of the unit 4. Once again, I am saying that in unit 4 we are having only the 4 particular topics. One is the mapping of S plane and jet plane, and second one is primary strips and complementary strips, and the third one is Routh stability criteria, and the fourth one is jury stability test. 4 particular topics are there in unit 4. Okay, it is a simple unit and very small unit. Okay, so with this I am winding the class for today. Thank you everyone. From tomorrow onwards, all of you join for the DCS class with group 2 link only. From tomorrow onwards, that means from today itself. Okay, so thank you everyone. Have a nice day.